So they had kind of like an affirmative action program for communists. And so they flooded into the government, particularly these temporary wartime agencies, the Office of Strategic Services, Office of War Information, and then all those guys at the end of the war were dumped into the State Department. And that's where all the McCarthy, most of the McCarthy cases came from. They came from those agencies. So there was definitely the cover of the crisis and the domestic problems, and also in that case, the war became the pretext for putting these people in the government. And so the parallels to what you're talking about are there. Okay.
Let me talk to you about this man, Cass Sunstein.
Yes.
I think, I've said, and nobody in the press, you know, they don't even question why I even say this. They just discredit me for it. I think he's the most dangerous man in America. Would you agree?
Well, again, what I know about him, I know from you mostly. I listened to you talk about Sunstein, and you may what little hair I've got left stand on end. And so
he's been watching the show. He's actually only 30 years old.
Well, I wish. But anyway, Sunstein, you talked about this requiring links of internet, you know, to the other side.
He talks about going and infiltrating and discrediting. And
I listened to every word you said about that, and I said, this is because, and one of many things about it, it's exactly parallel, the silencing part, to a document that is almost 50 years old called the Reuther Memorandum, which was issued back in the Kennedy era, authored by a man named Victor Reuther, who was the brother of Walter Reuther, one of the people that I think you've been looking at with some interest. And this was basically how to silence conservatives in all departments of our life, but particularly on the airwaves. And out of that came the Fairness Doctrine, which said, in essence, that if you put on the air a program by a conservative that is paid, you then have to put on an equal time program free for the opposite point of view. Very similar to what you read from that gentleman.
Okay.
And that was 1963.
All right. I want to come back because here's Cass Sunstein on conspiracy theories. This is Communism Un-American, and a new article that just came out, The Anatomy of a Smear. We'll do that next. We have so much to go over and so little time as usual. I mean, these are the Venona papers. This is top secret from, this is KGB stuff. We have to go over this. We have so much. We're going to have to come back another day. But I wanted to stop here because if anybody believes in any of this stuff, I can guarantee you, and you know it to be true, because I've said, read this book. Immediately, I will be a conspiracy theorist. I will be, you know, you name it. You've lived it your whole life. Well, there is a
not entirely yet.
There is this article came out in Town Hall magazine, and it's on me, and it's called "The Anatomy of a Smear: How the Left is Fighting to Silence Glenn Beck." And it is amazing. It's written by Meredith Jessup. It is an amazing article. The only article that I've read that actually uses the facts and say, no, here's what happened, here's how they used it. This is a system, and they have done it to people in that entire timeline there.
Well, you're so right. It's happened both domestically and in foreign policy. Anti-communist leaders like Mihailovich in Yugoslavia, Chiang Kai-shek in China, and others were delegitimized by this very same technique. A Soviet agent named James Klugman was responsible for sending back to Churchill this information that Mihailovich, who was the anti-communist in Yugoslavia, was no good. He was collaborating with the Nazis, and only Tito was fighting against the Nazis. Completely false. Churchill cut off Mihailovich. They gave all their aid to Tito. Yugoslavia goes communist. Soviet agent named Solomon Adler, sitting in Chongqing, China in 1944, sending back similar reports about Chiang Kai-shek. Chiang Kai-shek is not fighting the Japanese. He's a collaborator. Only the communists are fighting the Japanese. Well, then cut off Chiang Kai-shek, give the aid to the communists. China falls to the communists. It's a pattern.
It's over and over again. America, just have no fear. Have no fear. Know the truth. The truth shall set you free. It's going to make you miserable first, but the truth shall set you free. Thank you, sir. God bless you.